Hi everyone, I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here, just jumping on quick. We talked about the heat being the big story earlier today. Now we've got some big thunderstorms out there kind of feeding off all of that fuel. And one of them has become severe. This is right on the border of Montgomery and Harris County. You can see just to the south of Spring. These have been prolific lightning producers. I was actually just watching the storm on the roof of our studios here in Westheimer, and the light show is unbelievable. So lots of lightning, gusty winds going to be the concern here. I'll stop this and we'll give you a better idea of where this storm is going. It's been pretty stationary over the last 20 to 30 minutes. It popped up around the Aldine area and it's kind of spread up towards Spring and out towards the west side of I-45. It's pretty much sitting right over I-45 between Spring and Aldine. So this warning is in effect until 9:30, so another 10 minutes. 36,000 people, over 36,000 people included in this warning. So again, it's pretty much right along I-45 here between Aldine and Spring. That's where the worst of this storm has been so far. Rain total is pretty impressive as well. I mean, it hasn't been there for that long, and we're already seeing values upwards of about an inch in a few spots, and this is much needed rainfall. But obviously the severe threat with this is not the rain, but it is, I think, the wind. That's what we're really going to be keeping a very close eye on here. So here's a look at live radar. We'll switch over to our velocity mode, our wind detector, and nothing is really jumping out at me except for that. So notice that brighter green spot there and the brighter red spot. That's where the winds are kind of diverging away, and that's where we had some pretty gusty winds. So up right around the Spring area, and that's about when they issued that warning there just at the top of the hour. Before that, though, this was a pretty small storm, but you could see with this storm, as it was growing, it kind of let out quite a bit of wind, and that's why we got that warning in place. No hail, though, on our hail detector product. We'll switch over to that in just a second, and I'll give you a look. This is hail tracks. I mean, nothing severe at least. That gray shading there, that indicates pea to marble-sized hail, so that's just below severe limits. But it's mainly been, again, where the core of that lightning and heavy rain has been right along I-45. So the worst of this just to the north of Aldine. We'll switch back over to radar so you can get a better idea of what's going on. And I'll loop this. This is the last 2 hours. You can see the storm really kind of blew up here around Spring, and now it's starting to travel south down 45. So Aldine, you're going to get some even heavier rain as we go through probably the next 30 minutes. I think the heaviest rain, though, is now starting to exit Spring, so you're in the all clear for now. But again, this warning, it looks like the worst of the storm is actually now outside of the warning polygon. So we'll pause this. And let me take the drawings off of here. Whoops. And really, it's been, again, just a big core of lightning here over 45 south of Spring. There's not too much going on out to the east side. It really looks like it's moving to the south. And so I think they're going to let this warning expire here in the next few minutes. It's only in effect for another 8 minutes, but we could see gusty winds in this area. Let's get you in for a closer look. And we'll take a look at some of the streets that are impacted here. So if you live along FM 1960, there's Aldine Westfield Road, that intersection there out towards Hardy Road, the Hardy Toll Road. This is where we're seeing the area of the storm that's under the warning, where we could see some of those gusty winds. A little farther, though, to the south. There we go. A little farther to the south, though, this is where we're seeing some of the worst of it. So Ella Boulevard along I-45, pretty much hugging I-45 to the south of Spring. That's where the worst of this storm is. No magenta shading on here, which would indicate, a significant hail core, just a lot of heavy rainfall, all that darker red indicating that heavy rain. And when we flip the lightning on also, you can see, there's just been a ton of lightning with this storm. This has been quite the electric producer here over the last 20 to 30 minutes. So this is where they issued the warning, was back here just around 9 o'clock. And you could see why. Notice the magenta shading in here. So again, this was 8:52. We had some areas of magenta. The winds were starting to get gusty. There was a lot of lightning. So they issued the warning. Since then, though, in the last 30 minutes, this storm has pushed to the south. And notice we're not seeing magenta anymore. It's just dark red, so it's a good soaking rainfall. So I think they're going to let that warning expire here in the next few minutes. Otherwise, though, heads up if you live in Aldine, if you live to areas south of the Loop, south of Beltway 8. So here's Beltway 8 here. And then here's the loop there to the south. This is now starting to push into the Beltway 8 area, or at least the heaviest of it is. So Aldine, you're up next, and then along 249, 45 here, Beltway 8, and then if we're lucky, we could get some of this down into 610, into the actual loop into downtown, but we'll see. Then we've also got some other downpours, just before I jump off of here quick, some little thunderstorms up towards the Tomball area, Pinehurst, Cypress. You know, you're hearing the thunder in the Cypress area. If you live south of 290, you're not seeing any rainfall quite yet, but if these storms are following the track of the other one, then you're probably going to see some rainfall within the next, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, so these are all starting to push to the south over the last hour. You can see that. So Cypress, heads up, you're about to get a good downpour. Pinehurst, you're seeing some heavy rainfall. It's really just to the west of Tomball right now, but the only severe storm that we've got is, again, just to the south of Spring along I-45, and I just don't think it's going to push into downtown. By the way, if you live in Mont Belvieu, we've gotten great video from viewers showing really heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning, some gusty winds. So a gusty thunderstorm, not severe, pushing out of the Mont Belvieu, pushing out of the Baytown area out towards Shore Acres. You're getting some thunder and lightning. Smith Point, heads up, you're about to get a pretty good thunderstorm there. And then beyond that, we're dry. But Galveston, you know, if this holds together, we could see some thunder and lightning there by the top of the hour. So a few spotty storms. We said that this would be the case. We said one or two could be strong to severe, but that's all we've got out there right now. And again, we're just watching one severe thunderstorm warning. That's on the border of Montgomery and Harris County. That's it. I'm going to get ready for the 10 o'clock show unless another warning pops up. I'll see you then, and we're going to talk more about the heat and if we can see any more rain chances as we go through the week. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in a bit.